Steph, we have Dr. Ish, superb psychiatrist on board. We need to dig a little deeper here. What drives someone to want to spend that kind of money, clearly a fetish, to smell this lovely lady's flatulence?
Clearly, right? Clearly, it's a fetish, right? Which is a very, very strong drive. In this case, it's a body function fetish. Specifically, it's a fart fetish. Now, a fetish means that you've got a specific body part, a specific body function or object that just really turns you on, and you like to incorporate that into your sex life. Now, as a reminder, right, before we go thinking that this is outrageous, sex is the single strongest drive we have as humans. So if that is something you need to reach sexual gratification, the $1,000 that Stephanie was charging per jar can seem like a bargain.
Absolutely.
You had to come up with, supply and demand. You had to have a constant production so you could fill your quota, meet sales. How were you able to produce so much gas?
Protein shakes. Goes down pretty easy. You don't have to eat a ton of food and bulk up. And then also I was doing black bean soup, which is one of my favorite foods.
That's an old standby to produce gas, but you're right. The sources of protein will cause gas production and in many cases more pungent aromas due to the protein breakdown. So you were working hard at it to produce all this gas, but you went a little overboard. You ended up in the emergency room. Tell us what happened.
So with all of the media attention, I was getting more orders than usual. And I think I maybe got a little bit too overzealous and I took on way too many orders. Began to panic. It was like less than a week before Christmas and I needed to get these orders out. So I drank like 3 huge protein shakes in one day, almost an entire pot of black bean soup. And by nighttime, I had horrible pressure and like tightening pain in my chest. Every time I would try to breathe, it felt like I was, having pressure on my chest. So I went to the emergency room. They performed an EKG. They also did a blood panel because I had just started new birth control. They thought it could have been maybe a stroke or a blood clot. Turns out after looking over my EKG results and my diet, it was decided that it was actually most likely due to severe gas pain.
Wow. So
I'm glad to hear you're doing well, but differential diagnosis of a heart attack is too much gas, heartburn. That can mimic the signs and symptoms of a heart attack. So I can see how you ended up in the ER. Stephanie, what's the PSA public service announcement that you think everyone needs to hear? You have the floor. Tell us.
Farts don't belong in jars. Farts deserve to be free. Set them free.
That's sort of touching. PSA. I mean, Rob, I'm like, whoa, this is a segment like no other segment.
It's amazing.
Rob, what do you think of all this, hearing it firsthand?
It's amazing. Well, first of all, for $1,000, I hope Stephanie including shipping and postage on those farts. I'm sure she did. And it makes me wonder, Stephanie, what are you going to be selling next? Maybe some fingernails or nose hair? What's next?
Well, I did just recently launch a line of digital fart art NFTs. And for Valentine's Day, I'm thinking about a fart scented candle.
Oh, nothing says Valentine's Day like that.
Stephanie's fart business is alive and well.